The Bite Me podcast is coming right up, and it is brought to you every week right here on YouTube by Freedom Boats. It is the best shallow running boat on the water, and there is a model perfect for you. The Chiquita 14, the Eagle 16, the Patriot 18, the Commander 21, the beautiful Warrior like I have 23, or the big boy that runs so shallow, the General 26. Chet Moore and Pooty can customize it however you'd like, and there's a dealer near you, whether it's the Boatyard in Kemah or dealerships in San Antonio, Beaumont, Corpus Christi, Port O'Connor, Houston, and Aransas Pass. Freedom Boats or freedomboatsusa.com. Welcome into the Bite Me podcast. I hate to keep people waiting, and a little bit of backstory here as we're getting started on the Bite Me podcast today. A lot to cover as usual. I am going to do it. I promised this last week. A little update on the feeding frenzy, which is 1 month from tomorrow. Man, kind of starting to run around with like the old chicken with the head cut off here a little bit, but it's good. It's fun. It's always for a good cause. We'll get into that. Captain Scott Knoll has joined us from his truck. We'll get that story. Captain Dean Thomas has joined us as well. Captain Caleb, I don't know. There's some storms that came through. We'll see if he can join us at some point. But the backstory as we get started here is I was in the studio ready to go, waiting for Dean and Scott perhaps to join us here. Then I realized I was in the wrong studio. It was for a podcast I'm doing tomorrow. I'm like, damn, I wonder where those guys are.
It's quiet in here, man.
It's kind of quiet. It's just me. It's just me and me. I was literally texting you guys when I got the text from Scott. John? I was like, oh, wrong studio. That's what happens when you're multifaceted. But no, it's going to be a fun show. Glad, Scott. You sound great, Scott. You're in your truck. Give us the little backstory here of what's happening and why you're in your truck, and Caleb may be DOA for this podcast.
Well, it ain't rained down here in months and months and months, and I guess our electricity just didn't know what to do with it. But now, I mean, I was sitting outside watching the rain because I was kind of enjoying that, and all of a sudden, this one of the biggest lightning strikes I've ever seen. It had that multiple fingers, lit up the whole sky, and for a broad day, it looked like a nighttime one, but it was in broad daylight. I mean, It was intense. And simultaneously the power went out, and I went, uh-oh, that's probably not good. That was about an hour and a half ago. And Victoria Electric Co-op guys just showed up a little bit ago, and I got out there and talked to them. They said, yeah, it completely fried two of the poles down.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
And on top of that, it blew out every transformer along the whole entire line. He said, I said, well, what does that mean as far as timing goes? And he says, gonna be a while.
Yeah, gonna be a while.
Gonna be a while.
Well, I'm glad you could join us. Sometimes you got to play hurt, as they say in sports. So you sound great.
Yeah, I can do that. Caleb apparently can't. I mean,
Caleb can't.
Caleb can't play hurt.
Sent us a screenshot of, I only got one bar. Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's about like one of our listeners. He couldn't play hurt the other day either. Mr. Austin. I
want to get to that when we get to where the captains were, how they did, and what they noticed. I want to get to that. You got onto some tarpon too, but let's start right here. Dean, happy you could join us. You're in your usual spot. Glad to see you. So, update on the Bite Me feeding frenzy. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcast. Join the Facebook group page, and the reason I say that now is because on the Facebook group page you can RSVP for the feeding frenzy. And for those who are just joining us for the first time, I'll give you just a quick little thumbnail background. And we got a lot of fishing to cover today too. You know, I never miss on that, but people have been wondering how it's going, etc. So we'll dig into that here. It's a fundraiser. It's a thank you and a fundraiser. 2 years ago, I approached these guys. I said, I kind of want to just thank so many listeners who are loyal to this podcast, who help us, hundreds of thousands of downloads a year. And I just want to do a solid for them. But wouldn't it be cool if we could include, a charitable, organization and raise some money while we're at it. So we had Texas Boys Outdoors. Last year, we added Heroes on the Water. And in one day last year, we raised more than $50,000 for that. And that's just in year 2. Year 3 is this year. As I mentioned, you can go to the Facebook Bite Me group page on Facebook, RSVP. You can buy raffle tickets, and I'll get into that in just a second. You can just be sure to get all the information you need. So here are the details as up to the minute. We have 288 RSVPs. We're expecting more than 500 people. There will be walk-ups. So we'll get you the first 200. The meals are on us. Thanks to our great sponsors and great partners. And I'll get into that in just a second as well. So 200 are paid for. The rest is just $15 at the door. We're hoping to at least hit $50,000 again, if not exceed it. And that's where I will mention this. So far, last night, I was doing the math on some of the donations. The raffle, by the way, you're not going to find, we've said it multiple times, you're not going to find better odds to there's only 288 that RSVP, so I'm guessing they've bought raffle tickets, maybe a few more as well. You're not going to find better odds to get a $65,000 boat. Here's the other thing about the raffle. It's not a one and done. So we're going to have all kinds of stuff in the raffle after. That's always a question we get. Hey, are you going to pick the raffle first or last? We're going to pick the raffle first. That way, everybody's going to have the same chance to win the boat. After that, we got a Power Pole Marine Smart Charger, which is badass, and I know our guys can vouch for that. It'll charge everything. It's very quick. It's very awesome. That's valued at $1,500. All you got to do is buy a raffle ticket, and you're in for that as well. We're going to have, and Dean, hop in on here because you've got the latest news on this. We're going to have a decked out Jackson kayak valued at $2,500. So even if you don't win the boat, you can win the kayak. So Dean, hop in on here. What's the latest on that?
Yep. That should be, I'm working on that. Should have that picked up in the next week or so, actually, in my hands. And yeah, so this week, the kayak, it's a Jackson Coosa. It's going to have paddle, life jacket, rod holders. It's going to be rigged, ready to fish. Thanks to very generous sponsor that's making
an
that
unnamed
possible.
Sponsor that I really want.
Yeah,
but he doesn't want his name out there. He's a great dude.
He just wanted to remain anonymous and contribute to a good cause and be part of the program. So we thank him very much for his effort. Also this week, sitting right over here in front of me, I have a big old pile of Waterloo rods for raffle prizes, auctions. However, they're going to be bundled with other prizes. I'm not sure how those are all going to be passed out, but we have 9 Waterloo rods that will also be in the program. So thanks to Jimmy Burns and those guys over there for his very generous donation.
I'm glad you mentioned that. At last count, let me make sure I'm doing this right. I'm doing it in my head. We're going to have, for silent auction, raffle, etc., I think we're going to have more than or right around 30 rods, high-end rods, from the G. Loomis to the Waterloo, obviously Sawgrass, Colin Zillick, our friend over there, as well. Laguna, they're going to be custom Laguna rods that Randy Nickerson is making. But let me finish with the raffle prizes. So if you buy a raffle ticket, I think it's $50. You could win a 2026 Freedom Patriot 21 with a Coastline trailer, Suzuki 140, or Power Pole Marine Smart Charger valued at $1,500, or the decked out Jackson Coosa kayak that you just talked about, or a Bite Me logoed cooler. This is an Arctic cooler that our friend, big time listener Rico Castillo is donating, filled lures, gears, goodies, including a turtle box. It's valued at probably $700-800. I didn't really put a price on it. And Camille Null came in with an Orion cooler, and she's going to pack it herself with all kinds of good high-end prizes. So you got 5 big-time prizes. The least valuable, probably about $700 or $800, if not more. And Scott, you may even know because you know the stuff she's putting in there. That's just the raffle. So come RSVP, come to the Feeding Frenzy. Buy a raffle ticket, even if you just do that. But we want you to bring your generosity as well. The live auction, a weekend stay at a vacation rental in Port O'Connor, guided trip, including a guided trip with Captain Scott. Try to put a price on that with those stories. How about this? A private, also on the live auction, private dinner party at your house from the Top Chef Texas star, and his significant other, Andrew Kern and Kristen Rowan, and that's Butter and Bacon Ventures. They're going to come to your house and high end at your house. I didn't get the exact number for how many people. Maybe Dean will know, but I'm guessing 6 or 8 minimum. And they'll cook that dinner at your house. Another
and a bartender. That's
a bartender,
a chef, and a bartender.
Yeah. All right. So I didn't even know that part. I'm adding it as we're talking here. So that is going to be in the live auction. Also in the live auction is a South Texas deer hunt in Cotulla for up to 2 guests, 2 nights, 3 days with lodging, management buck and doe and hogs. That's valued at $2,500. Also in the live auction, Cast and Blast out of Riviera, Texas, with Captain Sally Ann Black, Baffin Bay. You can add an afternoon dove hunt, 2 nights lodging. Also in the live auction, a 1-week stay fishing Nosara in Costa Rica. How about that? Includes a half-day offshore trip and a safari tour. Airfare is not included, but that's valued at $2,500. Also in the live auction, we have 7 live auction items this year. 2-night stay in the Matagorda area bungalows, which is the Lower Colorado River Authority has donated one of their bungalows, and a guided trip with Captain Caleb. Try to put a price on that. And this is another big one on the live auction, a 2-night stay at a luxury condo in Key Allegro in Rockport. If you're familiar with Rockport, you know Key Allegro is nice, plus a guided fishing trip with Captain Dean. So that's just the raffle and live auction. If that's something you don't want to necessarily open your wallet for, the silent auction, I'm not going to go through everything right now. We'll post it later. Let me just say this. And I'm very proud of this. I just put it all together last night. We have more than $100,000. I repeat, $100,000 of products and gear that's available to win in a raffle, to take in a live auction, or to take in a silent auction. How about that?
Also,
go ahead.
What I've been holding my finger up for 15 minutes.
I was reading the list.
Checking to win.
Yeah, I know. I saw you were reading down. You were preoccupado. I wasn't sure. You might have been on a different page than us, somewhere else, in a different podcast. But in addition to the rods, I forgot to mention there's also 2 tackle bags that came from Waterloo to go with that. And then the only other thing I could think of that we haven't mentioned is we have 4 custom-made shootouts that have the Bite Me logo printed on them, which are also going to be raffled, bundled, auctioned, or whatever as that.
So it's badass. I mean, I'm very, very happy, very, very proud. It is a little hectic, but you know me, I love doing stuff like this. Get on the group page. Right now, we only have 60. I say only. I say only for our listeners' sake, because there's $6,450 worth of raffle tickets that have been purchased. That's not a lot of chances. That's a good opportunity. Wow. That's a good opportunity to win a boat and all that other stuff I talked about.
It's better than them tickets I scratch all the time.
That's right. and Perry says, great job by all the companies. Yeah, I'm going to give them all their due, because couldn't do it without them. Meals, donations, sponsorship money, etc. So wanted to get that out there. Let's get into the fishing aspect. Unless, Scott, you have anything to add to all this? You may have an idea of what Camille's going to throw in that box as well.
No, that kind of worries me a little bit.
She's going to get stuff off your shelves. She's going to go
in my garage, man.
In your tackle room. Hey, that's a $7,000 reel.
Hey, I need that.
There is that. But how about that? Like 30 rods, high-end rods are going to be part of all this. So come on down. Oh, yeah. And if you buy this stuff, whether it's in the silent auction or live auction, tax deductible, man. If you're in the market for gear, that's going straight directly to Texas Boys Outdoors and Heroes on the Water. So if you're in the market for gear, come on down, have a meal. We have some contests going on, and we're going to iron out the details and the rules of the casting contest. And then you can also do this. Last thing. All right. We have one of our great listeners, Richard Etheridge. I'm going to say your whole name, because this was really cool. He says, man, he direct messaged me. He goes, man, I can't make it this year, but let me buy this many tickets. I won't say how many, but it's several, and just give them to someone. just give them to someone. So I've got some people I'm sure we can find to give those tickets, meal tickets, and etc. So love you people so much. Thanks to the guys, and Caleb's not here, but thanks to Caleb as well for everything that he does. All right, where the captains were, how they did, what they noticed. Scott, I'm going to start with you. You had one of our listeners, speaking of our great listeners, on your boat. I think he won the battle. I think he won the battle with that tarpon, but you tell me.
Curtis got his. Curtis got one. Had Parkoff on there. Parkoff, he put up a hell of a fight with it. It was probably 30 minutes, give or take, with well over 6 footer. I mean, it was a damn good fish. It was a big one, and finally it tail slapped. It was getting tired.
You dropped the phone.
Phone keeps falling. Well, the damn winds. I got it propped up on my steering wheel, and the wind's blowing out here.
I thought there was an earthquake or something over there in Port O'Connor.
It's shaking the damn truck.
Yeah,
So,
extreme weather day.
Yeah, it's bad over here. Where was it? Oh, Parkoff fought the hell out of it, and it was starting to slow down. I had to run the boat and chase this thing. I mean, it was ripping. Had almost all the line pulled off on the first run, and it eventually got up on top and it tail slapped the line enough times it finally just broke that braid. Just nothing you can do. I mean, it's tarpon fishing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And and we had Perry Bowman's son Kenneth out there. That dude fished hard all day long. I wanted him to get a bite so bad. It just didn't happen for him. And then we had Austin. I mean, Austin was just like, he was just decoration and entertainment for us, pretty much.
Decoration.
They don't make fishermen like they used to. I mean, he blamed it on staying up and Parkoff rum and some of that.
Oh God.
I don't know, man. Sure looked like seasickness to me. I've seen seasick a few times, but anyway, neither here nor there. But we'll get him back out there and see if we can prove whether or not it was the rum.
Oh yeah. So before we get to Dean, you did well. What else did you do in terms? Did you get any bay fishing in? Was it mostly beachfront? And what did you notice that maybe our listeners can take?
Dude, I've been on the beachfront almost every day. It's been just dead slick, nice, calm, good numbers of tarpon, lots of them at the jetties. And the guys who are running live bait at the jetties are doing well with it. I prefer to go out on the beachfront and chase them, and I've been doing okay with that as well. Did do one poling trip, and we smoked them. I mean, it was a really good trip. Lots and lots of redfish up really shallow, and they stayed up a lot later than I thought they would. They kept going. I figured it would be over with by 9 or 10. You know, water temperatures back there well into the 90s. Every day when I'm at the fishing center, I'm looking at it, and on the outgoing tides, it's 92.4, 92.6. I mean, it's pushing towards 93 degrees. I mean, that's in the intercoastal. I mean, that is hot, man. It's 8-9 feet deep right up against the docks there, and just really, really hot water. That doesn't bother the beachfront stuff, but the backwaters, it'll slow some fish down. They just don't have any oxygen to work with.
Yeah. So Dean, I know you've been out on the beachfront. I saw a nice kingfish today, but what else? How you did? Where you were and what you noticed?
Well, that was yesterday, and I took most of the week off. I was in Houston visiting the family for a couple of days. Got back Sunday. Fished yesterday, and man, the next couple of days it looks great. So as long as this jetty action holds up, that's my first spot in the morning. We've been coming back, drifting the flats, but coming back to the flats at 10 or 11 o'clock is not as favorable as being there when the sun comes up. But the water has been slick. It's been flat out there. It's blue. It's the most amazing thing. But just the stuff that we've seen along with the kingfish, we've seen eagle rays, skying out of the water. We've seen kingfish skying on the bait balls. I've seen sharks skying on bait balls, like 10 feet from the boat. Man, a shark just comes leaping out of the water. So it's just kind of a little spectacle of nature going on. Crazy storm that passed through here today. I was just looking at the wind. Ours peaked at like 45 whenever the storm hit us.
Yeah.
The one that blew Scott's lines down. We didn't get any thunder, though. We had no thunder or lightning. When it got here, it was just wind and rain.
Scott's like, you want thunder?
The initial line of it that was all the drama was only about 10 minutes. And then it went away. So I'm hoping that tomorrow it just goes back where it was. This was just a pass through kind of thing. Kind of interesting in the forecast throughout the next week. We have rain mixed into the forecast, which we have had no issue with talking about that for the last 6 months on any concern for rain. So I don't know. It would be interesting how it goes. But overall, the tide is great. We're coming up on the new moon. I mean, on paper, it's amazing. And even today, I mean, the last 2 showers that passed through here, that actually passed through Port O'Connor on its way to me, were nothing big. Not a front, I mean, it was like one blip on the radar. The only place it was raining. And these things had 40 and 50 mile an hour gusts, which kind of crazy. And I'm glad I haven't been on the water for those.
No kidding.
I happen to be at home when those happen. But, you know, being out there at this time of year, if it rains, it's welcome. It's like, let it please rain.
If you're listening to this podcast, then I know you're passionate about the outdoors, and you also live for those moments, not just fishing, sharing stories and laughs around that pit or grill. Texas Star Grill Shop is a proud sponsor of the Bite Me YouTube channel. Before you set off for your next outdoor adventure, don't forget to stop by Texas Star Grill Shop to pick up your bottle of OG sauce as well. Texas Star Grill Shop. The next time you catch those big fish, celebrate it around that grill. From Texas Star Grill Shop, proud sponsor of this Bite Me YouTube channel and the Bite Meat podcast. Subscribe today.
Yeah, this one was not.
This one had some thunder. And Scott Perry's asking, will the rain cool off the backwater areas? I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then both you guys, as I'm listening to you, you're kind of off the beachfront a little bit. What are you hearing though from your buddies, and what are you seeing for some of our waders that like to wade out on the beachfront in terms of trout and such?
I'm seeing a lot of guys going up and down the beachfront with this calm weather, and they're jumping out and wading. I talked to a couple of different guides that they've been doing just fine on surf trout. In fact, they're catching oversized trout, you know, a good bit outside the slot. So anywhere you want to fish on the beachfront, it can be really good. I mean, if I wasn't doing the tarpon thing, I'd probably jump up there and go wading a little bit, because there are plenty of fish in the surf. Lots of bait, you know, everything looks good. I mean, the birds are working along the surf. I don't see any problems with that. As far as Perry asking about the water temperatures, this wasn't enough rain to do anything on that. We maybe got a half inch out of this. That's not enough to really change any water temperatures. Now, you know, if it stays cloudy, you know, for a couple of days, that might lower it a degree or two here or there, but it's still too damn hot.
So Dean, you're same thing with you in terms of a little further south, trout and such on the beachfront. But beyond that, you know, what are your guys telling you as far as, you know, the sustainability of this? Because we've had everything was pushed back because it was windy for so long. Do you think it'll be a little more sustainable if the temperatures stay low? I mean, high?
I mean, it got a late start. It doesn't mean it's going to last any longer. It's still going to end when it ends. But I've seen tons of pictures of guys. The conditions could not be more perfect for. So you can, in Port Aransas, I mean, there's a lot of people that go across the ferry, drive down the beach, you know, where you get a beach parking permit, and there's parking all along the water, and the waves have been like non-existent on the beach. You can be out there at sunrise, and yes, there's just rivers of mullet streaming. I mean, as far as the conditions and the timing, man, it couldn't be better for driving the beach, stepping out, walking out to the second sandbar, and having a good old time. And I've seen tons of pictures of people catching fish early morning, Port Aransas, just right there down the road from the jetties, right there in the pocket and beyond. So the blue water is amazing. I mean, we've been going on the coming in the Lydia Ann Channel, you going over the sandbars. I mean, you can see the bottom at 10 and 12 feet, crystal clear. So that same clear water is up to the beach. And I mean, I've seen anchovies, we've seen rain minnows, we've seen mullet, swimming crabs. There's been just a lot of life. And when the conditions are there, man, and you can go and not walk out to the sandbars and, cast and get, good, proper action, like throwing a top water across those sandbars when it's not wavy. And some of the most amazing blow ups you'll ever see on those speckled trout.
Yeah.
But personally, I don't, the guys that run out of my marina are going to be going north. They go around the jetty. There's a big sunken shrimp boat. There's a shrimp boat wreck about halfway to Cedar Bayou. That little stretch is just real popular for speckled trout over there. Whether you drift it or step out and wade, the conditions have been ice cream for doing that right now.
It's time, baby. It is time, and you got me excited. I'll be down there this week yet again. All right, so go ahead.
Look, there's a quick question on kingfish rigs. ?
Oh yeah.
I troll Rapalas, and relatively small. They're like it's CD11, CD mag. It's like a 5.5 inch Rapala. On a wire leader that's about 36 inches with a loop-to-loop connection on 30 or 40 pound braid on a Penn Battle 6,000 spinner. It's a simple rig up. I mean, it really is nothing elaborate, nothing crazy. You can put it together. You get a break off or a cut off while you're out there. Man, while we're still trolling, I put them together while we're riding around. Nothing real complicated, just a haywire twist with a loop, put a double surgeon's knot in the braid, loop through the wire, through it to where they just loop to each other. And it's just that simple.
And that's versatile. It can catch a lot of different things that are roaming out there.
Well, yeah, caught a big old bull red. Jacks will hit that thing. The kingfish just absolutely go berserk for it. But it's not running deep either. It's running about 10 feet.
So, Scott, you add your kingfish rig because yours is different. Or is it?
No, kind of the same thing. Sometimes I'll use a swivel and just attach the wire to the swivel and then tie off the swivel and just have it ready. Because there's ones like Dean's talking about, they don't twist at all, but sometimes I'll run those. They look like little octopus, I call them jelly rigs. It's just a soft plastic with a lead in the head of it, and you run your wire through the lead to a hook. And those are kind of fun because you can run them on top and run them a little faster when you're trolling, and they'll spin on you a little bit. So I'll put a swivel on that. But for the most part, no, I mean, you can rig it up. You can do it either way. It doesn't take a whole lot of wire. I mean, people get this idea that you've got 3 feet of wire. I mean, you just got to get it away from their teeth, and so 8 or 10 inches of wire is plenty. I mean, most people run 12, 18 inches or so, but it really doesn't take all that much.
I go with a longer piece to avoid the tail cutoffs. Those things they go berserk. But also I'll troll a X-Wrap, a Rapala X-Wrap, and it actually bounces on the surface. It's just like a little torpedo. And watching those kings when they're in a really good mood and come skying, and they're like swimming through the sky, just getting it, and the lure's hanging in their mouth before it gets set. It's pretty amazing. The majority of them since the full moon have been deeper. So on the sonar, all the bait is down 10 to 15 feet. There haven't been a lot of bait balls on the surface, so you're not going to see a lot of birds. There hasn't been a lot of Spanish mackerel on the surface, but they are down there. They don't, a lot of theories, do they leave? What's happening on the days where you can't pull one up to the top? But there are guys, you'll see the crowds that will gather at the first buoy at the end of the jetties and drop ribbon fish on a kingfish rig with the 3 hooks, and they put the 3 hooks in the ribbon fish, and they're fishing down deep. But those dudes are getting hammered by sharks. Yeah. I mean, they can't keep sharks off of those things right now. Guaranteed to catch you a shark if you drop some bait down deep right now.
So since we're here, let me ask you guys this, because every time, well, not just me, but every time I'm out there, you start to see other stuff, other signs of life, whether it's Spanish Max, you mentioned reds, maybe it's something else altogether. What is your other rig? Is it a different type of plastic? Is it a different, how do you rig it, etc., when you want to just cast at something? You know what I mean?
I keep my regular trout and redfish rods. I bring a couple light rods. When the Spanish mackerel are up on top, I throw the flamingo, the hot pink ball-tail shad. And the trick to that is you have to rip it. It has to go fast. If anything just sits there floating in the water, zero interest. Throw it in there, rip that thing as fast as you can, and that's going to get them to hit it. And we've caught some really nice Spanish mackerel mixed in. Man, I've had some wall hanger Spanish mackerel hit the trollers as we were going. There's another mackerel called a cerro mackerel, Cerro. Not the most common, but it is much bigger than a Spanish mackerel, not as big as a kingfish, and actually hooked one of those it was back before we left, like Tuesday of last week.
And the only thing, Scott, is make sure you have the right leader if you're going to be throwing at those things, because
if you think they're Spanish mackerel, which Dean said he didn't have them up on top, dude, they are all here. I mean, I got miles of those damn things. And most of mine are small. They're like 12, 14, 15 inches. They're little bitty ones, but they are going nuts on top. When I had Trip out last week, he started throwing a fly rod at them, and we put a little trace of wire, maybe, I don't know, 6-8 inches of wire, black wire. Problem with Spanish mackerel, don't use anything silver on your wire, or if you're going to put a little swivel on it or any of it, do not put anything silver on there, because they'll go after that too, and they'll cut you off because they're hitting your swivel, and they'll cut it. Go all black. Even the sleeves, if you're using the crimp sleeves, all black. Don't give them any reason. They'll hit a knot.
They'll hit the
they'll hit the
bubble trail.
Yeah, they'll hit the bubble trail from a knot. And they did it to us yesterday, cut us off right at the jetties.
And there has been millions of the little 12 inchers, but there's been some pretty decent ones, pushing 20 down there amongst them.
Yeah. See, now that's good information, boy.
And I mean, if you really, want to have a good time, put a silver spoon and a wire leader, and then you can catch, you can target them, and you can spend a lot of time just entertaining yourself on those things for sure.
Yeah, that little 6-weight fly rod is a blast on them.
Yeah, man, the flies they're a killer out there.
Let's talk about taking your game to another level. Let's talk about Sawgrass rods. If you haven't heard, they're taking over the inshore, offshore, and fly rod game. Sawgrass rods, Colin Zillich, the whole gang over there are going to make sure that you've got the right rod. We throw Sawgrass rods, and Sawgrass is the next level of rod. I'm telling you, when you order a Sawgrass rod, if you don't like what you ordered, return it. They'll pay for the shipping. That's the way it is, and that's the way you can trust Sawgrass rods, sawgrassrods.com. Hey, how'd that trip go, by the way? No pun intended, because we were talking about it last week about Trip wanted to go a little fly fishing, so you did have some action, huh?
Yeah, we didn't find any. We think we saw a couple schools of tarpon, but they weren't very cooperative. And well, towards the end of the trip, we did find one really nice school. They were mudding. Everything was looking right. They were just kind of slow rolling in some mud in about 8 or 10 feet of water right outside the pass. And as we're easing up to them, some jackass comes riding right through the middle of them.
Right through the middle of them?
We're the only two boats on the Gulf of Mexico over here. I mean, we're it. We're there's nobody else out there. Yeah. And I'm 100 yards off the beach, and this jackass runs between me and the beach.
Man, I was out there I was in the middle of the ship channel. We had this badass kingfish hooked up, and we're fighting it, and then this jackass tanker comes down the channel.
What are you gonna do about a tanker?
And man, I told him, I was like,
Jack, you waving him?
I was like, just hang on. I was like, we got to drag this fish out of here, or I said, we can't stay here. And I'm throttling it, man, and it's just pull and drag. And eventually we broke that one off because we had to get violent with it. But I was like, jackass tanker driver. I was like, can't you see?
Only Dean will get mad at the tanker. That's coming.
Dude, I had a guy.
Another one.
We're sitting on a whole school of tarpon yesterday, getting ready to throw at them. Another listener, Mr. Kennedy, Charles Kennedy, we're just finding them. We found a really good school. We had hooked one really good fish, and broke it off, and then on one of the jumps. And then we've located some more. They're up tight to the beach. I mean, they were like just off the third bar. I mean, they're right there. We're easing up and down. We're casting all in them and waiting for that good bite. And this guy comes running down the beach again. There ain't nobody else in the Gulf of whatever you want to call America, Mexico, whatever. And this another jackass, he comes down and he's running in the second gut.
Oh, Lord.
Inside the third bar. And it is absolutely as flat as a pancake out there. I mean, it was mirror flat, not a wave in sight, and not another boat in sight. And this guy decides to run between me and the beach while we're casting up onto the third bar.
I wanted to get your autograph, man.
I cannot figure this out, man. I mean,
hey, there's Scott Nell. I'm gonna go get him to sign my hat.
I turned around, I looked back, and I was like, "You got 600 miles between here and the Yucatan that you could go around my ass, and you got to run right there."
And those are the ones that always get me. It's like if you're in a cut, if you're in a gut, and it's unavoidable. And you got to run. There's incidental contact you can't get around. But when there is so many other better options, and then that's the option that they choose. I have, So
good thing it doesn't bother you guys.
The real kicker on it is I'm waving him off because I'm like, hey, we got fish here, go around, and that they know that they're screwing up when they won't look at you.
Oh yeah.
Dude starts looking down at his center console like he's got to look at his GPS to stay in the second gut. And he's looking down and then looking at the beach and looking around, but will not look at it. And he drove by close enough. We could have talked. I mean,
and not to get off the subject too much. And I don't know if I told the story. Did I tell you about the dude that yelled at me? I'm in the channel.
No,
I'm in the middle. So those islands out there in the middle of Ransom Flats, just Old Faithful, right out there out my back door, from shoreline to shoreline, as far as you can see, there is nothing but 18 inches of water. There are no channels. And I never raise my hands, or it takes a lot to get a reaction out of me. Back in the day when I was younger, didn't take as long. The way things are out there now and what you see, if you get pissed off, all you're going to do is piss yourself off because you're not going to change the world's ways. So this dude is coming across flats. He's coming. And man, when you can talk to each other, you are beyond too close. Dude cuts. I mean, I see him coming, and I had some folks with me, and I step up on the front, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And he turns around to me. He goes, I'm in the channel.
What?
And this was at like 11 o'clock, 10, 11. You could see it's crystal clear water, and you're in 18 inches skimming the grass. And I was like, so go figure that one out, man.
Plus, you know every inch of that area.
And I mean, when you can, and he's running, and we're still talking to each other. I mean, over the sound of the engine, we could communicate a couple of sentences to each other. How freaking close is that?
That's pretty close.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so when it comes to the dude running over Scott, all of the other options that were there, and the thought process, hey, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go here.
Hey man, that was good stuff on the beachfront and rigging and all that.
You've been missing the action, John. I know you.
Don't tell me.
I know you've been just sick about it, but
absolutely sick. And the wind's probably going to pick up this weekend, so I'm probably screwed again. But you know, it happens.
What I'm seeing.
Oh, good.
Everything,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, everything I'm seeing is supposed to stay the same.
Good. We'll get to that. I got stuff to do, but I am going to be out there. Even if it's by myself, I'll make sure somebody knows I'm out on the beachfront trying to fight some. That's always exciting when you catch a kingfish by yourself. You're trying to do one hand this way, one hand that way. Don't fall in the water.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'll
got
be
your
out.
hands full on that situation.
You definitely do, but I'll do that. All right. So that was great. And I'm looking forward to this one because we had a listener question. And of course, by the way, DM me. And that's how we get all this information. A couple of people have DM'd about, hey, I didn't get an email, but I RSVP'd. You will get your information on that. Trust me on that. Gene Crush from Texas Boys does a fantastic job on all that stuff. But the question was this: it's about avoiding the app rut. And we all use our apps sometimes, and this is the gist of it. Sometimes we sort of fall into a habit with apps, just like we do with lures or gear or reels or whatever. And, you know, we always like to maybe try something new and everything. So here's the question. Love the podcast. Tune in every week. I'm a Missouri guy that loves to fish Texas. I only get down there once or twice a year, and I've been doing guided trips. Recently, bought my own bay boat and plan on going out on my own with a buddy. Talking about apps for the coast, what apps or websites help you determine the tide, wave height, frequency, etc.? What apps or tools for you four guys do you rely on? But it also got me thinking, so y'all share that. Dean, I'm going to start with you. Share the apps. But it got me thinking about, you know, how some people might try new apps and resources. Do they do that enough? Do you guys do that enough? Or do you fall into a rut? Have you been sort of tinkering with some other stuff? It's a good time to maybe do a shout out to Angler U. I know Caleb is going to probably have his Wi-Fi ready to go for that tonight. You know, trusting the YouTube post, using apps to your own detriment. There's so many different ways we can go with this. And, you know, the little kicker I put on there is about a month ago, I had someone, you know, I caught a bunch of fish and he asked me how I did. And and he goes, well, I didn't go because the app said it wasn't a good day to go fishing. So I'm like, well, you know, maybe use the app to decide where. Maybe use the app to decide where you go fishing. So Dean, kind of an open question. Start on the apps that you use. Do people tend to fall into a rut as well with them?
There is a lot of data out there. Myself personally, I use the same simple ones. The cool thing about Angler U, if you are planning a trip or if you are at home and you're studying for the week, there is very good specific data to our area by guys who fish in our area every day. There are other apps out there that are so general. I mean, I could take a map of Florida and I could take a bay and I could circle every island on that bay. And I could say, oh man, this is good. Because I look at the apps of Redfish Bay that are out there, and every single island, every edge has a highlighted area. It's like, oh, genius. Yeah, you figured that out.
But that's part of the question, you know?
But there's a lot of them that are very, very generic. And to me, you can't put a lot of faith in those. When you look at a map and it's like every damn island is circled. Okay, great. Yeah. How did you come to that conclusion? Angler U is different because it is the guys that are here doing what they do. And so, but for me, I use the NOAA app, which is the wind, the tide, and the water temperature at the channel. And then there's other ones around there. You know, the My Radar came in handy today. And then I use the Wonderground for wind. And I'm going to let Scott get to the waves and offshore because I know he has a lot more information on that. But my choices are pretty simple. I mean, and it is the same ones. And other ones will pop up. I will click on them. I will look at them, but I never go back to those on a daily basis and use them for data gathering or trip planning information. However, I do get that if you have 2 weeks and you're planning your fishing trip, or you have all week and you're coming down on the weekend, um, to me, I can almost see where it's information overload. It's too much data. I mean, how do you take all of that data and go, okay, this is my spot today. This is my winner, because there's a lot of damn water out there. There's a lot of options. And specifically to where is the tide today? You know, which one of these flats? The main thing that I use when I look at NOAA every single morning and 10 times a day when I'm out there is, what is the tide specifically doing at this moment? Because I know how that number relates to the flats that I want to be on, because I want it to be deep enough. I can still run my skiff and launch and get out of there, but I want it to be at that shallowest range to where I can see fish and see signs and see all those things and still sight cast the fish.
Go ahead, Scott.
Pretty much the same thing. I give you an idea. When I wake up in the morning, I look first at the NOAA and get my tide. You know, so I know whether the tide's higher or lower than predicted. Yeah, I know what the predicted tide's going to be, but I want to know what the actual water level is. You can find that on there. We've shown it a million times how to get there. Wind Finder is next, because Wind Finder will show me. I mean, there goes my phone again. They're talking about the wind and it blows my truck. So anyway, God dang, this is rough. Wind Finder has got wave heights. It's got the seconds between the waves. It has the tide. It's not super reliable on the tide, I don't think. But there's different stations all over the place. There happens to be one at our jetties. When you're at the base of the jetties, there's a big yellow tower, and that's where that one, all the information comes from. So I know it's current. It's exactly where I'm going to be. There was one that I used to use called Magic Seaweed, and it was really good. And it got bought out by another one called Surfline, and I'm just not as happy with the Surfline. The Surfline doesn't show me as much. It doesn't seem to gather as much information as the old Magic Seaweed did. Then My Radar, that's my morning. NOAA, get the tide level. The Wind Finder, that tells me my wave levels and the wind, of course, and what directions. And it gives me hour by hour. It's like every 2 or 3 hours, it gives me the forecast. It seems to be pretty much on. I know some people like Windy app a little bit better, but they're getting the information from the same place. And I just like the layout for Wind Finder. I like having it, every 3 hours, and it shows me what it's going to do. And then of course, walk out there and look.
Well, that's the thing. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
Get to the ramp. Know what your flats are at different levels at the ramp.
Right.
I launch at Fishing Center day after day, and I know based off of the middle dock how high it is right there. And then I've got probably 4 or 5 places that I look at as I'm going out, and I know which little back lakes I can go into and which ones I can't. And also by knowing what the tide is actually doing, how hard is it going to fall today? You look at that NOAA app, and it's going to show you today is a real steep decline. So all right, I got enough water to get in there. Do I have enough water 4 hours from now to get out?
Right.
So I can kind of judge it by that. And you can use your finger on that little NOAA app, and you can slide it over to different times of the day, and it'll tell you about what the tide should be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's critical information when you're going into some of these far back lakes, unless you want to call CETO.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, and you both kind of touched on this. To me, I rely on real-time apps. There are a lot of apps out there. This was kind of what Dean was talking about. Do this. This should be good on this day. It's not like the old days where you would read the newspaper, and say, "Oh, the tide's going to be this." No, that's just a guess, and it's probably wrong. 80% of the time. Real-time apps. Y'all mentioned a bunch of them. NOAA, obviously, My Radar, Windfinder. I like Fish Angler. Fish Angler has been very, very good to me. It's in real time. And then the other thing that I wanted to get to, this podcast, not to be too self-serving, but the reason I'm so determined and have not missed a week is because at the start of the show, we tell you what these guys have been doing. At the end of the show, and what they notice and what they would predict. And at the end of the show, we do a what would Scott and Dean do, and Caleb, and they tell you, because they know and they're on the water all the time. Fishing guides know. Fishing guides know the trends. They know where, day to day. And that's why, I'm pretty proud of that. But it leads to the other point real quick before we get off this topic. A lot of people, and it's very, very popular. Hell, this podcast right now is being broadcast live on YouTube. There are a lot of people who post YouTube posts and call themselves, pros or whatever. Make sure you're looking at the date that thing was posted, and make sure that you're looking at the credibility of that person that's posting. YouTube, to me, Scott, can be a really, really not dangerous, fishing dangerous, they call it, thing to rely on when people are saying, "Oh, do this, and this. I caught so many fish, etc. The tide was doing this." You got to know your sources. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When it sucks, we tell you it sucks. I mean, I've been pretty proud of that. And peel back the curtain a little bit. It's a whole lot better now that we're doing this at home, or in our trucks or whatever. And we're doing them live like that, because peeling back the curtain a little bit, we used to do 2 at a time. And when I had to drive to Houston sometimes, we'd do 2 at a time. And there was that one week when I said, "Oh yeah, the weather forecast looks great, and dealer's choice, whatever you want to do." It was summertime. Weather pattern was pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna be out there on the beachfront doing my thing, and a damn hurricane came up out of nowhere. I look like an idiot.
Trust me, honey. Let's go. Scott said it was going to be good, but we're not talking about 2017.
Never mind that big spinny thing out there. Don't worry about that spinny thing.
And you got to appreciate Scott's attitude or his dedication to the program to sit in his truck, because there's no electricity in the house.
Yes.
The show must go on.
Yeah, no doubt. The last thing, because how I like to just dig in on all the levels of these conversations by now. But Dean, the guy told me I didn't go fishing because this and this app said it wasn't going to be good. You use apps as a guide. I've seen you do it. I do it. We get to the end of the piling there, coming out of the marina, and we have all this information. We've looked at the, where the water line is at the marina, and we kind of have an idea. We look at the NOAA app, and I like to look at Fish Angler, etc. But once you get out there, you use that information not just to say yes or no, I'm going here, but to say yes or no, this area might be where it's best suited right now. You've heard Mark Nichols on the podcast, and he's caught more fish and changed the fishing game like few others. Mark and DOA Lures have everything you need and want on the water. That's what we use. DOALures.com is the website. Of course, you got the classic DOA shrimp, but top waters as well. I'm a big fan of the PT7. You see us using that all the time. That is DOA. Get to a retailer near you. They are all over. Or go to DOALures.com, and be sure to listen for Mark Nichols on this podcast. They have revolutionized the fishing industry, and they keep doing it. DOALures.com.
No, it's the specific ones that we mentioned earlier: the live tide, the live wind, and the live radar determines what we're going to do today. The one that I like to entertain myself with is the Solunar calendar, and I don't know which one this is. I don't remember where I found it. It just says Salooner Clock is this app, and that can be so random and arbitrary. Now, this is the other ones are factual and relatable. This one is like some voodoo magic entertainment kind of thing. You know, the Salooner Clock, they can tell you 5 years from now what the major and minor feeding period is for August, you know, the Farmer's Almanac kind of predictions. So I always compare what happened that day to when the major and the minor was. And we have, you know, a month ago, whatever, in the summer, those things tend to correlate more. Well, this summer, I'm not going to say every summer either, but they have tend to be more in line with that. In the fall, you have so many override. I don't care if it's minor, major. I don't care. When you got a billion mullet migrating across the flats and the reds are schooling, it's a major feeding period for 3 months. And that doesn't really change. That is, I do look at the Salooner Clock, and then how the major and the minor coincides with the incoming tide and the dropping tide. So that can be a little more interesting, that it means more if you have a good strong current while you're at the major feeding period.
Scott, do you have anything on that? Because I have one more to circle back to how we started this conversation.
Yeah, the Salooner thing,
you're not a big fan.
Really rely on it. I mean, I'm going to go fishing anyway, and I don't want it to affect my judgment on what I'm doing.
And confidence.
The confidence level and all that. Usually, I'm looking at the birds and what the birds are doing. If the birds are sitting, it's like the cows in the field, man. If they're laying down, it's going to be slow. When the birds back up into the marsh and they get way off the edges and they're just kind of chilling, I know the fishing's probably going to be a little slow. They start working their way out to the edges. They start, hunting along the edge of the marsh. Fishing's picking up. And sometimes I look at that Salooner table later after I fish and try to see if it correlates to when the birds started moving and when the fish started eating. Some days it's dead on. There's other days it's exactly opposite. So, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in that.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always said. If it's 1 star, what are we supposed to do? Not go fishing? Can't go today, guys. We got 1 star.
Try me tomorrow. Try me tomorrow might be better.
If we went off that, we couldn't make a living.
Yeah.
Or we'd have to charge double for the 4-star days.
Yeah. And it's just like Scott said earlier, in spite of the heat, in spite of the conditions that we're up against, he's still getting, good redfish later in the day, staying up there a lot longer than you would expect. And, the more than likely that doesn't coincide with the 4 stars on the calendar here.
Well, let me throw this one in here again. Might go a little bit long because it does tie in with the beachfront discussion we had earlier. And when I sent you guys the rundown, I tagged it as spit on that thing, because I was figuring Caleb would be here and he would have some smart ass comment to say about it. But it's about it's a good question. How often do you retie?
You're trying to go viral, aren't you?
Well, I wouldn't be the first
with your spit on it thing
in that case. But the question was about leaders, and I think it ties in with the beachfront talk that we had, and really others. How often do you retie your leaders, and when do you use leaders and when not? I mentioned this about a month ago, and I think this question came in about that time. How my wife lost one on the rocks, because I don't know if the leader, if we didn't have a leader, or old or whatever, and she was really mad. She's still mad about it. Scott, leaders, me, and when I'm throwing a plastic, and a lot of people would fight me over this, I like to have as little as possible between me and the plastic, by and large, unless it's rocks or jetties or something like that. A lot of heavy structure, oyster shell, something along those lines. What's your read on that? Leaders and tying them and testing them.
I've got a leader on everything for the
Mhm.
most part. I mean, there's really I don't see a reason not to. You look it up, tie good knots, test them, check them, uh, look for that braid is really strong, but it frays pretty easy. You
Mhm.
know, if it's rubbing up against something, you rubbing up against rocks, rubbing up against oysters, it frays pretty damn easy.
Mhm.
And I've seen a lot of times I'll have the guys swing it over, after I see them hung up on some bushes or rocks or whatever, and I'll just clip it real quick, retie it. It doesn't take that much time. That's why I don't use the clips and stuff. A lot of people swear by all these different clips.
Mhm.
Um, Sorry, K Wiggler. I mean, I know y'all sell them, but I don't use them because I would rather retie it and know that I've got a strong connection with a new, fresh knot. Uh,
Mhm.
After you catch a bunch of fish, feel that leader line up a little bit, and it'll have little nicks in it. If it's rough at all, then I'm
Clip
not
it.
gonna chance it.
Yeah.
On the tarpon side, you catch a tarpon, you better retie. You get a
Mhm.
bite from a tarpon, you better retie. You feel that line, it feels like 80 grit sandpaper was run up and down that line for several inches. And we're using 60 and 80 pound leader on that, but
Mhm.
it doesn't take long for a tarpon to wear through it. They've got such rough mouths.
Mhm.
Uh, Same thing with, like I said, with oyster nicks. As soon as I see one of my guys hang up on an oyster, swing that back here, or I tell them, just go ahead and run your finger up that, check it, make sure don't have a nick in there, because
Mhm.
there's no sense in chancing it. You lose a fish of a lifetime just because you didn't want to retie.
Yeah. So, Dean, how are you with your leaders? Because when I'm out there, you just heard what I said: oysters and roads and stuff like that. I'm trying to lead. Are you pretty loyal to that?
I have a leader on everything all the time.
Well,
And plus I use 10-pound line a lot on the flats.
hmm
And 10-pound will handle the biggest fish out there, but you have to monitor your knots. You have to have a fresh knot on there. So I try to try to
hmm
retie
yeah,
daily. And a lot of times, so if I get to the boat early and I'm sitting there, I'm clipping and tying, I don't replace the whole leader. I just clip that knot off and shorten it up a little bit
right,
and
right.
retie. Because I have been victimized by that before. I mean, I have had felt the sting of fighting a badass fish or somebody on the boat is, and then tink,
Yeah,
just gives up.
yeah.
Wasn't snagged on anything. I'm always going to try to make some story. Oh man, that thing got hung on a rock. That it comes in, you can plainly see where it was worn out. But I mean, it is best to retie often. And I don't use clips, I don't use swivels. I tie a loop knot straight to the lure, line to line knot, uni knot from the braid to the fluorocarbon.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was my last point on this, and we'll get to what would Scott do and what would Dean do. A lot of people, friends of mine that don't fish very often, they're not real slick at tying the uni knot. You can find it on YouTube. There's some real reliable places to do it. Uh, Take the time, Dean. Take the time to learn it and to keep tying it as much as you can, and it'll come second nature because of exactly what you said. You'll lose a fish. Everybody does because you may be just a little bit lazy,
It's a super easy knot to tie. When you pull, when you draw, when both knots come together, you may want to make sure that this one on this end lays down flat and the one on this end lays down flat. You don't want to have an open loop that crosses over to where they bunch up in the middle. If it's
Yeah.
clean, it will. And the cool thing about the uni knot is you can clip the tag in. So the
Yeah.
mono is going forward. The mono tag in is going to be pointed to your rod tip. We have a lot of issues with grass. You can clip that tag in flush with the knot and it will not pull out. You don't have to leave a tag in. So it is smooth. it won't snag grass. And man, I hear people tell me about the blood knot and something else. And the blood knot, to me, man, I've looked at it. That's quite a confusing knot. The uni knot is, I mean, it has, I have complete confidence in it, and it's so easy to tie.
Yeah, yeah. No, so that's and like I said, full disclosure. A lot of times on plastics, I don't, especially if I'm in deeper water, I won't do it. But I generally tie the leaders on just about everything. But hopefully, I won't lose one like that. But let's get to what would Scott do and what would Dean do. And while you were talking, I looked at it. Scott, you're right, looking pretty good this weekend. I mean, starting all week long, really.
Yeah, everything's good except for a little bit of rain here and there. There's a little rain in the forecast for like Friday, Saturday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like tomorrow, I've got one of my regulars coming out tomorrow, and he's going to try to fly fish. He wants to get a tarpon on the fly, and we're looking at 0.7 at 6 seconds or something along those lines.
Oh, baby.
Basically no wind, no, just nothing. We even have a little bit of a north wind here predicted tomorrow. Just a slight little northeast, so that's going to lay it down completely. There shouldn't be any waves out there at all. We should be able to see.
Why you want to put that whammy jammy on us?
Exactly.
You sound
everything
a little too confident.
I mean, looking 10 days out, it still looks good all the way out. So
yeah, the weekend looks good for you, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Kind of excited about it. It's that time, man. We suffered through June.
We earned it.
All that wind and all that crap, and now it's settling in. And as long as we don't get nothing, no name something out there in the middle of that Gulf, we're golden.
Hey, we're live now.
Got plenty
you can trust us. This is not 2018.
Yeah, this is a 2-week forecast.
Dean, I'm looking at Friday. Man, I wish I could take Friday off. Maybe I'll come up with something. But Friday, 7 a.m., I'm looking at 1.9 miles an hour.
Scott made me look at it now. We got a northeast wind at 3 to 2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And actually, before the sun comes up, it's like at 0.
Yeah. So
it's been so. One of the only problem with that is I was on a bunch of fish yesterday, and we didn't want to leave, but we also were ready to turn the air conditioner on. You know.
Yeah.
Like we were absolutely just melting, sitting there. There was no wind at all. I mean, it was exactly flat, still, nothing. And that sun coming off of that mirrored water, it was baking us. I mean, it was pretty damn hot. Really wanted to fire that motor up and go run in a circle.
Just run a circle and come back. Yeah, run. That'll do it. So open slate, man. Open slate. I would suggest beachfront and nearshore. But it's going to be good. So I'm looking forward to it. I got to come up with an excuse for Friday.
Going to the beachfront, just run way the hell around me. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that hard.
It's really not. So good deal. Don't forget what I said at the top of the show. I won't reiterate too much, but get those RSVPs in there. Do Scott and Dean. I know you guys have got some dates here and there. Tell us before our parting shot here, anything that you guys have and some dates that might be open for you. We want to get some people to fish with you because it is a great experience.
Man, I got all kind of you pick a day, we're gonna make it happen. But right now, when school starts, it gets real slow because all the people are doing family matters. Weekdays, ain't nobody out there. A lot of sporadic days open, man. So if you want to go fishing, give me a holler and we make it happen.
Scott, I had no idea you had your dog with you that whole time.
Yeah, I was telling you. Well, you would have known if you were sitting in his truck because she's farting like crazy. But, I had to roll the window down a minute ago.
Yeah.
I was trying to get her to do an appearance, and she's just laying back there sleeping. She don't want to talk to anybody. But,
she thinks she's going for a ride.
Yeah.
That's why she got in.
Yeah.
I opened the truck door. She jumped right in.
So hit you up, Scott, right?
Yeah. September I've got openings. I don't have anything left for August. August is jammed up, and then but September I've got There's 1 week in September that is absolutely wide open, and we're trying to do that one from the feeding frenzy last year. Dean, he said he sent some dates or something the other day, but I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
But I don't
It was
see
in
that
the
email.
previous. It was in the email above the reply.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
well, I couldn't see it, but anyway, I've got some dates open in September.
Scroll up.
I know how email works. I don't see it, but October last year I had tarpon all the way to November 2nd. That was the last school that I saw. I wouldn't count on that. If you want to get into the tarpon, I'd say middle of October. That's usually when they'll stick around till the second week in October. Depends on the weather. If we get some early fronts, they'll push out a little bit sooner. But anybody that's got that tarpon itch, get with me about that September, early October.
Well, all right. I'm hearing thunder now, so maybe I'm going to be hit next. So we're going to wrap this thing up. Don't forget everything that I said about RSVPs and raffle tickets and all that. You will have a great time. Casting contest, maybe we'll do it next week in terms of ironing out the rules. We've got another couple of surprises in store for you. It's going to be a big time. You guys go catch fish, man, and I'm gonna be out there with you. You guys catch them up. Have a great time. Have a great week, and we will talk to you next time.
JoJo just farted again.